historically, I've always felt that I put out a lot of offers in like August, September, and October, and they tend to not get accepted. And then I find right after Thanksgiving, kind of toward the end, I feel like they're sitting down for a family meal
Yeah.
and going, we didn't get the price we wanted in September,
Yeah.
October. Let's not go into the next year with this over our heads. And you start getting those calls back on stuff. And I like that because I can see how a lot of people kind of sold the inventory at the end of the year. And then you got to
Right.
wait for January and February for motivation to kind of pick up and stuff. So I think that that's awesome. And again, talking about seasonal stuff here, the last one I wanted to ask about was you didn't do this at Family, but I heard you talking about this on a couple of podcasts. You were talking about the markets that are giving you some of the best returns right now. And I actually didn't have the data, but I know you mentioned California, Idaho, and the Carolinas. But
I
what
think
is
the
that? Do you
number one was Massachusetts.
really
Yeah.
Massachusetts?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then the second one, I believe, was Maryland. Yeah, if I remember correctly. And then California was there, North Carolina and Ohio. I believe those were the top five, maybe not in that order, but I believe Massachusetts was number one. Again, like generally speaking, the higher price market will have higher profit potential. When I'm flipping in Indiana or wholesaling, I'm okay with making $10,000, $15,000, let's say on an assignment. But if I were in California or I were in like Massachusetts, I would want to make more 25, 30,000 just by the nature of the more expensive market. You would have, I mean, higher profit number. Also, it also depends on whether people are flipping or wholesaling in that market. If people are mostly flipping, again, that your number would be higher on average revenue per flip versus it would be on average revenue per wholesale fee. I believe the last year, the average assignment fee was roughly about 17,000, a little over 17, but average fix and flip profit was almost 40,000. This is for investors that are flipping. So you see, it's like more than twice. So the number is going to be skewed if you have more people flipping in a market. Generally speaking, their margin will be a lot higher if they were assigning a contract.